Distillation. Obtain a substance or a part of it in a purified state by evaporating and then condensing it. Distillation. Now what does that mean exactly? What does distillation mean? Is it taking something and getting less of it? Is it making something its more true essence? Why are you talking about distillation, Brian? That's a good question. Or think about it when it comes to gaming. You know, you take the best of a game that you love and condense it, right? You boil off all the fat, all the impurities, maybe you would call them, and you get down to a different product. Remember that scene in Back to the Future 2 where they put the pizza, the little mini pizza, into the microwave thing and it rehydrated it? Imagine that in reverse. Imagine taking everything from one of your favorite games, putting it into said microwave, right? Hitting the button, turning it on for a few seconds, and then you just reach in and you get a much smaller version of your game. Same name, same art, same lovely dwarves. And that's what cave versus cave is all about. Or is it? Do you retain all that wonderful goodness of the big version in this? Let's take a look at it on the table and find out, is it really distilled? It's not the right word. Whatever, let's look now. So quite possibly one of my favorite reviews that I've ever done for the Dice Tower is my Caverna v Agricola Dawn of Worker Placement video. And for those who don't know, you can check out all the videos I've done on the Dice Tower. I've got a playlist over at my channel. I'll put the link up here. It doesn't drive traffic to my channel. My point is it just compiles the videos where they are on the Dice Tower from their feed into one easy place. You can just kind of scroll through the 50 plus videos that I've done for the Dice Tower, but it's still through the Dice Tower's channel. So just so we're clear, I'm not directing you to my channel to view my channel. I'm directing you to a compiled list. Anyway, that was one of my favorites because it dealt with one of my favorite games, Caverna. This is a monstrosity in a good way. It's a huge game. It's thick, it's heavy, it's got a lot of pieces to it. And the question is, can you take a game like Caverna, which they said there's nothing coming out for Caverna ever, and now there's talks of an expansion, right? Can you take it and make it into something smaller? Cave versus cave. Now we've seen this with Inland Port, we've seen it with All Creatures Great and Small. This time we get to see it with Caverna. And does it stand up? How does Caverna work compared to the others? Well, let's take a look right now at how Caverna cave versus cave plays, and is it as good as the heavy meaty version? So that's the setup right there. You've got all your pieces out there. Up at the top here, you've got the different actions you can take, which also works as a turn tracker. You've got the available furnishings up top there. You've got all your building spaces covered by rock that you have to excavate. You've got your walls sitting there, your first player markers, and only one of each type of resource. Now, why would that be? Why would you do that? Let's find out right now as we take a look at how to play this game. First rule of game distillation is to take a concept and break it down to its roots. First of all, these are the resources you start with. Like I said, you only get one of each because you have a track over here. You can only have up to 9 of each except for gold, which flips over and says 10 on the back, so up to 19 gold. Here's the beautiful thing about this. Now, I love Caverna. I love its big, chunky meeples, and there's pumpkins and things like that. I love all that stuff, but this is a much more compact way. This game doesn't quite fit on a tray table for an airplane, but it's real close to that. It takes a very little amount of space, and that's what I love about this, instead of having to collect it. And this is something, I think some of the newer Rosenberg games have moved towards this too. The big box ones like Fields of Arle. Arla, maybe, I don't know. You don't have to have a ton of stuff. You have just a little room and you keep track. And I really like that. It's a really good way. It teaches math too. Hey, who knew? These are walls over here. These come from one of the actions that allows you to build walls in between it. And the reason this is, certain furnishings have restrictions on what the wall configuration could look like around it. Some of them are completely walled in. And just in case you were wondering, your walls that are already there from the game board do count. So this is a completely walled in spot. Normally taking the excavation action, which let's take a look at the actions quickly. Right here, the actions on the board start with these 4 over here. And let's take a look at what these are. These 4 would be excavation. This is you get to mine, using one of the pickaxes, mine one of those spaces orthogonally adjacent to one of your open spaces. Now you notice that you started with the cave entrance open, so you can mine, forget these walls for a minute, you can mine any of the ones that are adjacent to either this space or that space, the two that are open. So you can pull this off with that action. You can also pay 2 food to do it twice, which means that you can do it up to 3 times, because a black slash means you can do one of the actions. A slash like this, where it's 2 separate ones, means you can do both if you want to. So this one, you could do a pickaxe up to 3 times, so you could go 1, 2, 3 if you wanted to. Now, you also get a stone. So you would just move your stone up on the track. Very easy, just like that. You have the undergrowth one. You get to activate one of your furnishings. Now that's an important concept, and it's where the game gets depth. You also get 2 wood per housework. Now this is pay a food per dwarf. You say, well, where were the dwarves? I noticed you didn't show me that. There's no little meeples for a dwarf. You're right, there are not, because this is how many dwarves you have. Because the first turn starts here. You would flip this one up, and this is also your turn track. You have 2 actions, then 3 actions, and then last turn you have 4 actions. So that's the amount of dwarves that you have, is how many are in that range. So the first 1, 2, 3 turns, you'll have 2. So to furnish a house place, a furnishing, it would cost you 2 food to put it there. You can also do it again for 5 food total or 1 gold. These furnishings, you start with 6. They have the light background on the back. They're different buildings. This is a food corner. This means that you move all of your food, or I'm sorry, not all of your food. Some of them say all. This one means you move your food up to the 3rd spot. It does not mean you move them 3 spaces up. It means you move them up to the 3rd spot. So if you're at a 0, 1, or 2, they move up to the 3rd spot when you activate this. They're worth 3 victory points. This one is. Cost is there, and that's the configuration. You would have to put it into a space like that. Now there's a cool rule, and I say cool, I'm conflicted on it because it seems to take some of the puzzliness out of it, but if you did it without doing this, it would be almost impossible. You can rotate this to get it to fit the configuration, so even though it's the top left corner, you can rotate it. So it doesn't have to be the top left like that. It can be just as long as it's fitting, and then you can put it back straight. So it's weird, but you can read that in the rule book. It's pretty simple there. The other buildings do different things. You pay the cost, and then when you activate a room, which is what this is, you can activate the number of rooms that you have available. And you just keep going down through the actions. I don't need to explain every action to you, but that's how they work. The last action on the 4th turn, on the last turn here, only the person with the most gold can take this action. And so it is renovate. It means you get to place a wall and furnish a spot. Now here's the thing, gold also counts as victory points in the end of the game, so that's another route you can go. The walls, you can place them by this action right here, the one that says +1 wall, but you can also destroy walls, and that's what I'm looking for, is the destroy wall, or raise a wall. It's this symbol. So you can pull a wall off, and you get those bonuses when you pull a wall. Basically, once you've built the place, you don't need the walls there anymore, so that's kind of the whole point of that. And that's it. That's how you play. You go through, you do these actions, and you compete, and see who wins after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 turns. Very simple, very fast game. So how do we stack up here? Well, price point alone, Caverna Cave versus Cave is worth it. Is that enough to do it? Yeah, it really is. I mean, the whole concept here of building and filling out your player board and doing the actions, taking the quid pro quo. So when you take an action, you would slide it towards your side of the board, stopping the other player from being able to use that action. So there's a lot of push and pull. There's also solo rules. Is it worth it though? Does it feel like Caverna? Yes, it does, with the exception that it is not Cave Farmers anymore. No, this is the Cave Farmers. This is Cave versus Cave, because there are no animals. There's none of that kind of stuff at all. You're just digging your house and furnishing. Now, I really like that. So it makes me wonder, if you played this and all creatures big and small together, you can kind of have a little half and half. And if you want to visit the port, you could just do a mega game of all 3 of the small games together, which is a terrible idea. You should not do that. But does it feel like Caverna? Yeah, it does. You get the essence of Caverna in it. Is it better than Caverna? No, I still like Caverna better, but that's not going to stop me. And here's why. This is a monster to set up. This takes seconds to set up. I mean, it's very fast, and it takes 20 minutes to play. Caverna takes a lot longer, especially if you're playing with 7 people. Never do that. Oh my gosh, don't do that. Anyway, it's a great head-to-head game. If you like worker placement games and you need a quick fix that's not, cheesy, doesn't feel like it's just, oh, this is worker placement. This one really is. I mean, even though you're not actually placing workers, you get the feeling of building an engine, getting those furnishings running, because this is kind of your engine. Your furnishings are your engine. You don't produce farm style, you produce with these furnishings. And each time you excavate one of yours off your board, it turns into another open furnishing. So the games can play drastically different because you randomize them at the beginning, and whichever one you open up is what's available then. So I really like Cave versus Cave, and I think you should check it out, especially if you like Caverna. And even if you didn't like Caverna for all the reasons of it's too big, it's too long, but you like the style, Cave versus Cave. And for the price, you can't beat it. Plus, it's just really great. It's Rosenberg doing his thing. You know, he does his thing. People do their thing. You know what to expect. It's good. Tarantino makes a movie. You know what to expect. Scorsese makes a movie, you kind of know what to expect. Rosenberg makes a game, you pretty much know what to expect now in a good way. That's good consistency. So, Cave versus Cave, check it out. For more videos, this is Bryan Drake with the latest retro. I'll see you next time.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.